To make the besan chila, I need besan, obviously, which is gram flour. And I've taken a small bowl over here in which I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of besan. So along with these 2 uh, tablespoons of besan, I'm also going to add in 1 tablespoon of whole wheat flour or atta. Now, the reason I do this is because if you do not add any whole wheat flour to the besan, your chila will break and you won't be able to handle it because besan has no binding power at all. Now to this, I'm going to add about just an eighth of a teaspoon, very little, like a pinch of turmeric for color, about the same amount of red chili powder, though you can increase it if you like spicier stuff, and about the same amount of salt. And to this, I'm going to add an eighth of a teaspoon, or a little bit more, of bhuna zira powder or roasted cumin seed powder. This gives a really nice flavor. To this now I'm going to add again just 1/8 of a teaspoon of ginger garlic paste. Now just ginger garlic paste is easily available everywhere, overseas as well. And this gives it a really nice flavor. If you don't want to use garlic or ginger, you can even use a pinch of asafoetida or hing over here. Now I'm going to snip in just a little bit of green chilies. If you don't like it spicy, you can avoid this. I do enjoy a little bit of heat, so I'm going to snip this in. To this mix now, all that I'm going to do is give it a good stir, and I'm going to make a lump-free batter out of it by adding a tablespoon and a half of room temperature water to it. First, I'm only going to add about maybe 1 tablespoon of water, maybe a splash more, because initially if I put too much water, all the water that is required, I could form lumps in this batter. So once I have mixed it to a thicker batter, which is easier to make lump free, I will add in like a quarter of a tablespoon more into it to bring it to the consistency that I need it to be. My thick batter is lump free and smooth, as you can see. And now I can add in the extra 1/4 tablespoon of water to thin it down to the consistency that I needed to cook. So let's give this a really nice mix, and you can see now it's quite a runny batter, but it's not so runny that it will not keep the shape that I'm going to give it. The reason I need this to be more runny than the paronti batters is because chilas should be much, much thinner, and only then are they nice. So I'm going to again take a plate which is microwave proof and brush it with oil really nicely. So the oil is a small quantity, only what I got in my brush, but I'm spreading it really, really nicely because chilas can be very sticky. So now I'm going to take all of this batter and put it onto my greased plate. I'm not going to waste any of that nice batter. Every bit is going to be taken out of the bowl. And now with the back of the same spoon with a very light hand, I'm using a circular motion to spread this batter out as evenly as I can possibly do. The more evenly and thinly you spread this batter, the nicer your chila will come out to be. Otherwise, in some places it will be crispy, and in other places it may be a little bit undercooked. Though in a microwave that usually doesn't happen, but even so, the more evenly you spread this out, just be a little patient. It's quite therapeutic doing this really, but be a little patient, spread it out nicely, because your patience will uh, give you profits in terms of a really nice chila to have at the end of the day. So here we go. I don't want to poke any holes in it, so you want to make sure it's a very nice and even surface. Right. And it, as you can see, it's quite large. It's the size of a regular chila. It's not a small chila. And this is good enough for a breakfast or um, a snack. But of course, you can make more if you want. You can double the recipe. So this is ready, and I'm going to put this into the microwave now. And because it is so thin, I'm only going to put it into the microwave for 30 seconds first. Now let's make a filling for our chila, because that is what really makes a chila, isn't it? So I'm going to use the masala paneer, leftover masala paneer that I have shown you in the masala paneer tutorial. And if you don't have that, you can watch it and make it from there. It only takes up 5 minutes to do that. Here I've crumbled that masala paneer and I'm adding some extra coriander into it, and I'm snipping it away with my trusty little scissors. Into this you can add whatever you like. If you have grated cheese or chopped tomatoes or chopped up sweet bell peppers and capsicum, onion, um, sprouts, if you want a healthier version of it. It really is up to you what you want to put in. So I'm going to show you in 30 seconds what our chila is looking like. Let me show you here. So you can see most of it is cooked. Only the center portion is still of a lighter color. So I need to cook this for just a little bit longer. Let me show you. The sides are beginning to come away. Do you see that? The sides are beginning to come away very easily. And that is why I told you that this cooks very quickly, unlike the prontis, because this is so thin. So let's put this right back in just for 15 seconds. And before I do that, I'm going to brush the top of this because I don't want this to become all dry and horrible. So to keep it moist, I have just brushed it. There's a little bit of a hole in the center, but it really doesn't matter. Our filling will not fall out of there. So back into the microwave for another 15 seconds, and that is all that it's going to take. Now, in this video, you must have seen various ingredients popping up on your screen. These were just pictures I could easily get off the net, and that is the reason I have shown them to you as an example. It's not a brand promotion or even a promotion of the supermarket. You can get all these ingredients so easily across supermarkets around the world, whether it is UK, US, Canada, Australia, all of it. So this is done. Let me pull this out and show you. As you can see, this looks perfectly done now. And I'm going to bring in my induction cooker to just crisp this up on my frying pan. So here I've got the induction cooker, my frying pan, and I'm going to turn this on medium high. To the pan, I'm going to wait for the pan to heat up a little bit. Let me just adjust this for you to be able to see better. And I'm going to brush the surface of this pan with just a little bit of oil. Again, you can see how much control you have over the amount of fat you use in your cooking over here if you're somebody who's conscious of that. So I'm just waiting for this to get a little hot, and with the help of my spatula, I'm just going to pick up this chila. It is a little delicate, but if you do it carefully, it's not hard to do at all. As you saw, I put the top surface of the chila in contact with my hot pan first, and then I'm turning it over because I don't want the sticky surface, the underside can be sticky sometimes when it comes out of the microwave, to get stuck. And that is the side that I'm going to use for filling. So I have turned it over. The moment it's dried up, I've turned it over. And now I'm going to, while it is still crisping up, I'm going to add in my filling. The advantage of doing this is that whatever filling I'm putting into it will also heat up along with it. So I'm using a very simple filling. I've put in the masala paneer, the coriander, and all that I'm going to add to this is a little bit of chopped onions. Like I said, the world is your oyster. You can make this with whatever you like, whatever fillings you enjoy having. I'm just keeping it simple. And I'm going to turn this over, and you can see this is nicely crispy and speckled with brown on this side. And this is ready for you to enjoy in less than 5 minutes.